The Ides of March as Bitcoin does complete its first 2-month closure for the year of 2024, and several things are set into motion for especially the medium and long term, and then we'll even go over a little bit of the short term as well. Other than that, I'm going to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. I do want to ask you a question before we get into this one. Elsa is interested in learning about the good old Bitcoin or the corns. What video would you suggest her to actually educate her, like in an easy to understand and relatively quick way? Send it to her on Discord and all good. Anyways, jump into the actual chart for you right on over here and start off with, as always, the accumulation distribution indicator when it is the first day of the month. And there is something of particular interest as of right now. That is that the accumulation and distribution indicator is opening with a massive downside slope for the month of March. So, of course, this indicator can really only be judged at the end of, at the end of the month. Doesn't really matter what it starts off with or even intra-month, but it does suggest a couple of things. First, if we do not see this one turn up, well, Bitcoin's in for likely a pullback and likely some sideways action throughout the month of March. And two, the other way would be perhaps what we've seen most often throughout the history of Bitcoin is that things just fucking bust on through and massive upside movements. So it does suggest that, we're probably looking at a volatile month yet again. I would not expect something as big as February maybe, but pretty damn interesting right here. Also of note, we are at the same level that is marked off with these green horizontal bar right here, which correlates to this on price. And historically speaking, whenever we've seen the accumulation distribution indicator get towards that region, that has correlated with, at least the last 2 times, the next month, Bitcoin actually retesting and even breaking the prior all-time high, as you see back on over here in 2017, and then more recently in 2020 over here. And then this one in 2012 did take a little bit longer. Of course, you could argue that, hey, in this particular instance, Bitcoin was still kind of new, and so this indicator didn't really have as much time to populate, so maybe it was a bit of an immature read, but still the result ultimately was the same. It was just, took a little bit more time to retest that prior all-time high, but it was basically sideways and up from there with really only one red month in between that particular read and the next all-time high. Anyways, in this case right here, again, it would be uncharacteristic to see this turn down from this particular area. We just have not seen that before in Bitcoin's history. So I'd say that that's, a tick in favor of the upside. But I'd actually really like to bring on over into the next view here, something maybe a little bit more important, which is going to be the monthly stochastic oscillator, which shows upside momentum continuing here into the extremely deep critical zone, but that comes with a caveat. Bitcoin must close this month above 58,800. So that pivot has moved up significantly from yesterday's video to today on this new monthly open. So what does that suggest? Bitcoin above that level, game on. We, upside still more likely. You might, see some downside moves in between there, obviously, but long-term upside still the most likely thing to be happening. If you see Bitcoin come back down below that pivot, we're probably in for a correction, like an overall correction, which could be to the tune of like 10 to 15%. I do think would be pretty easy to get. At that point, with strong reads like this, you probably expect another bounce off of the critical zone right here, but I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself as of right now. Of course, once momentum gets into the critical zone like this, it's not necessarily a bearish thing. This is like a major misconception that most people have. It needs to be incorporated within it needs to be interpreted within the context of the current trend. And the current trend is obviously a very strong uptrend. And when you get strong momentum reads like this, it's likely to stay in there for a while. And it's really not until it comes back down below the critical zone where it's a strong indication of the move, or at least the major portion of the move being over. I want to bring you back to 2017 and even 2020, where we saw the stochastic oscillator on the monthly remain within this really critical zone for, in 2017, it was literally for like a year. And in 2020, it was actually also almost a year as well. So, seeing as Bitcoin kind of just entered in to the critical zone literally at the beginning of this year, this would suggest that, again, most this year we're probably going to, see this continue. So I'd say that's still actually more on the bullish side, but you're going to see it flip and flop around. You're going to see a lot of terrible analysis on that as well, I do think, as people, again, just don't understand the the relationship between momentum and fucking trend. Trend always comes first, momentum comes second, and momentum tells you about, the current trend strength. Anyways, the bi-monthly chart representing more long-term view of Bitcoin did close above the pivot yesterday, which was, I think, like 26 or 27,000 bucks. It's moved up now to 28,700. Crazy. And again, the last few times that we've seen it cross up in this vicinity, also reclaiming the moving average on it, are represented by these green vertical, the green vertical bars here. I almost said horizontal. Very much coinciding with what we saw in the accumulation distribution indicator areas over here. So again, those things kind of playing hand in hand. Whoops, I'm getting way ahead of myself as I go to the wrong charts here. But again, this was another strong indication of sideways and up with increasing momentum on the long term. So long term, I would still say Bitcoin very likely trades to the upside from here. The question is, do we get a pullback in March, and how big would that be if so, which we'll get to soon. But before that, I do also want to say that the bi-monthly volatility has actually seen its first major tick up and is looking in expansive posturing right here, as well as it reclaims the moving average, both having a positive slope as well. And well, again, the last few times that we've seen volatility and momentum turn up on a time frame like this, I just think it speaks for itself. I won't even put my own opinion on that. Anyways, let me just work through my notes over here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Yep, we got that. All right, now let's go to this one over here. Something completely new, actually, or a lot of new things to be speaking about right here. But first, I'll talk about the Oracle Pro indicator, which again is part of that chart prime package, which actually I have a lot to speak about on that particular topic today. But the bi-monthly, again, closing. And we get our first strong buy signal on this, basically since when? Since July of 2020. Before that was September 2016. Before that was January 2013. Again, all of these were, within less than half a year of making new all-time highs. So I'd say another good indication that Bitcoin long-term direction still is to the upside. Any sort of short-term downside price action is probably just another higher low before setting up for more long-term upside. It is also of note here that all of these have been strong buy signals on these lows and have been really, really good at actually getting that sort of momentous push towards the prior and then new all-time high. Also, what's new with the chart prime package is the Krown range statistics over here. Let me go down to a time frame where it actually will make sense. Does now have a date range filter. So if you have access to this package, which is just in the description below, which is bundled up with the Oracle Pro and even the Krown VMP and several other things as well. And we're actually working on a new one, which I'm really, really excited about. But you can put in a custom date range now, and you can get the daily statistics just for that date range. So right now, I'm literally just looking at the year 2024. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back and now measure from the beginning of 2023, because that's really when this, in my opinion, this market cycle kind of started. So we can get statistics on what the daily closures have looked like in terms of probabilities at the beginning of this market cycle. And basically, Thursday is still the most bearish day, but Friday, as you can see right here, the bullish rate, or the amount of positive closures, is about 58.33%, which is actually the second highest likely to close positively. Now, yesterday did play out the range on a Thursday as pretty damn well as we were looking for. Just kind of an inside consolidation day. Friday, however, again, does favor the Boulas here. And over the past year, basically, the average return on the positive side has been just over 2%, and on the negative side has been 1.5% loss. So let's see what that would look like on top of the current open. 2% up would put Bitcoin kind of around yesterday's open at 62,500. And of course, 1.5% to the downside would put Bitcoin almost towards 60,000 bucks even, but more like 60,200 or so. So I do think that was rather interesting. And by the way, if you're already in this package, you don't have to do anything other than just delete the indicator on your chart and then re-add it, and it'll have this new functionality. Also, a part of the package now too Actually, I think this one might be freely available on TradingView. I'm not sure. But whatever is the deep volume indicator by Chart Prime. Now, this is something that personally speaking, I do think that this is kind of cool, just because usually you'd have to go to like a different venue than TradingView to get data like this. And it's not perfect, by the way, but it is showing you recent big trades, so block trades. And I wonder if they have a filtering mechanism for this as well. That would be really, really good. Okay, they don't. So you know what? I'm going to message my guy and ask him to add that, because that would be the obvious next step for this. But basically what it will show is it'll show, the trades coming through. So like actual trades coming through, not order book shit, nothing like that. But actual trades going on, and I do look at that as actually very, very relevant, not to be confused with the former. Anyways, and then of course the Krown VMP, you'll have access to that from that same package, but I don't have any comment on that on this particular view right here. I mean, it's telling us what we already know. It's fucking volatile run, right? So not much to be gained from that at this exact moment. Anyways, let me just, working through my stuff right here. Okay, yes, we got that. Now let's go to the big one. Okay, and where do I want to start off on this angle? There's so much to be said. We'll start off with the monthly. So what do you know? Bitcoin on the monthly did close above the median on the HPDR bands. Okay, first time that we've seen that in a very long time. And this is coming within the context of increasing volatility after some of the lowest lows that we've ever seen, by the way. And directional volatility represented by HPDRO is also turning up. We've only seen that a few other times in Bitcoin's history. It's going to be the exact same areas that we looked at from this angle right here and this angle right here. They're all correlating incredibly well with each other, which is good confluence, which is, suggesting that the upside long term is significantly more likely. But this does give us, again, an idea of where this current move could find its next sort of monthly high. And basically anything that we have seen this particular setup fire off, Bitcoin has traded up at least to the blue range high. That's the 50% range high. And in the past couple of cases, we've actually seen it trade all the way up to the 61.8 high. Now, I will say that on this month's open, these ranges actually stepped down. So yesterday, they were actually about $10,000 higher. Right now, the 50% range high is about $86,000. And the 618 high is 110,000, which actually that did step down like $15,000. So, these will change as each and every month passes, but these are going to be generalized targets, at least for myself, coming up to like very high term time frame stuff. So if and when Bitcoin does hit these, I would be expecting at least major pullbacks and perhaps reversals. But those are just kind of my generalized long-term targets. Again, long-term, not saying today or tomorrow, not even saying this month, not even saying maybe not even this year. I don't know. But ultimately, those are the areas of interest. Based off that. Anyways, going down to the daily here, again, Bitcoin's range playing out yesterday kind of exactly as we were looking for. I'm not saying this to like toot my own horn or anything like that. I never want this content on this channel to be like that. I'm just saying that as, for people to kind of follow up on. And at the end of the day, there's never really a scenario on this channel or when it comes to analysis, or at least my style of analysis, where I can say like, I fucking called it, man. To me, that's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. And actually, I look at anyone saying that as complete bullshit as well. The reason why is because at the end of the day, trading, investing, analyzing charts is all a game of statistics and probabilities. And just like you wouldn't get excited when like you win a coin toss because it's 50-50, you wouldn't get excited when something that is, like a 70% probability happens, right? 30% of the time it won't happen. 70% of the time it will happen. Would you be like super excited about that? Well, only unless if you're fucking redacted. So that's also like why I don't really take it like super personally when I'm wrong, because it's just statistics and it's inevitable. It's more revealing when like when other people, cheer you on for that, or in some cases get like really mad at you for it as well. At the end of the day, statistics are statistics, and following them is going to put you in a greater likelihood to be right, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And that's, in my opinion, the real mark of someone who understands this stuff. The people who don't, are the people who get emotionally excited either way, like both ways. And it's funny that it works like that, because a lot of the time, you can catch someone, who's on the other side, but if they're on the same side, you can usually be a little bit more understanding of that. It's actually just not true. You kind of have to be neutral on both sides, really, and just be like, all right, it's just another data point, really. It is what it is, and quite literally, it is what it is. So yeah, anyways, as far as a daily range day goes, I'd probably be looking for something relatively similar. The only way I'd really call a breakout from here is if Bitcoin does close today above 62,900, let's say. At that point, you're probably looking at a run towards prior all-time highs. Or, prior all-time highs would be like 69,000 bucks. I'd say 65 to 66,000 bucks would be pretty damn likely after that. Until then, I wouldn't be calling any reversals here on the short term, as long as Bitcoin's above 59,200. Below 59,200, okay, we're going to play out a pullback to open up March, and you're probably looking at mid, maybe low. You're probably looking at least 55,000 bucks. And I think worst case scenario would be like 52 or 53,000 bucks. So somewhere between like 52 to 55. Let's see what volatility looks like right now. It's still expanding right here, so to me, that says that the rally is still a little bit more likely to continue than not. But if we start to see this turn down, that's when you have to be looking, or not you have to be looking, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but I would be looking for a mean reversion play, and at that point, correction for March. So that's what I'd really be cognizant of, because if you do see that, that's a 10% move on the upper end, maybe a 15% move to the downside. Ultimately, I think that'd be a major opportunity, but 10%, 15% move for Bitcoin is very tradable. Anyways. Okay, last thing here. I did want to call out. Actually, this meta signals I just got sent this morning. This is a fresh setup for BNB, and you can see how it works out. I do want to remind myself to talk about this with MetaSignals as well. Again, I am an investor and advisor on that project. But when I read like general audience sort of commentary on trading, it's really concerning. It's really concerning is what it is. Look, when you're looking at these sort of setups, you have to be looking at it as like a probabilistic setup in your favor, not necessarily to like ape in blindly and just go long because this told you to go long. I don't think that's a good way to be trading. And again, I say this as someone who invested in this project. Like, don't trade these exactly. If you're smart, you're not going to trade it exactly as it tells you to. Can that still be fine? Yeah, it can still work, obviously, and we've seen that work out many times. But I think one of them yesterday did not work out well at all, and that's just a part of the game. That's what fucking happens. But you really want to be using your own sort of knowledge in combination with this. Like, this is like an indicator that gives you a probabilistic setup in that favor, but you can always make the risk management and entry much better, I think, at least from what I've observed with these setups. And I think that's going to be the next sort of iteration within this project, because right now you have to remember that these are still beta long alerts. And, while they're pretty good overall, there's going to be some hiccups here and there, obviously. And that's just part of the game. Again, statistics at the end of the day. That's all that it is. Just a game of statistics and probabilities. And the idea is to have more in your favor. So, if you are getting into a project like this, I'd really say that if you're like a completely newer trader, it's probably not worth it for you. Just because I personally speaking, I think that you should have a base of knowledge first so that you can make this more powerful. That's just my opinion. I don't know if the founder would like me saying that. It's like, you shouldn't buy it, but unless you actually know what the fuck you're doing. But yeah, anyways, their NFT is still available for lifetime access, and they are working on upgrades from this, which I'm actually pretty excited about as well. Just because I really do like the base format and formula that they have going on. It's already been proven to me as far as I'm concerned, and I think again with just even a very basic understanding of trading acumen, you can make that pretty damn good. Anyways, I think that does it. How deep into this video are we? Holy shit, 19 minutes. Damn, it's a big one to open up this month. I should have said this probably in the middle of the video, but if you find this content valuable, please consider liking and derping. I upload these videos each and every day, so if you're actually interested in this content, it's probably a good way to keep in touch. Also, this month, March, in like 2 weeks, it's going to be the 6-year anniversary of this channel, which is fucking crazy, like super fucking crazy. I'm going to have a lot of announcements for that time, which I'm really excited for. But I do want to let you know in advance that I will be having a sale for all of the products and services that we do have. I even have a completely new one coming out that I think is going to be most applicable to people wanting to learn. And so I just want to let you know in advance, if you're thinking about buying anything, I don't know, maybe hold off a couple of weeks, save yourself a few bucks. Great business strategy there. You won't have to pay as much, fair enough. But I do think that is fair to say, just because like I'd feel bad like if someone bought something right now and then they're like, oh fuck, I could have got this for a little bit less if I just waited a little bit. Hey, fair enough. But yeah, there will be a discount period during that time, and a completely new program which I've been working on for literally 2 years now in the background. I haven't spoken about it at all thus far, but it's basically about creating and maintaining a trading system. And I think it's if you're already in the TA program, this is not going to be worth it for you. This is all of this stuff is already in the TA program, and in fact, I'm going to delist that program. Not meaning that like you're going to lose access to it if you already have it. Of course, you're going to retain access, just no more new sales for it, just because it's gotten too big, and I want to lean things down. So this program is going to lean things down so that it's just focused on I think the most important stuff. Whereas the TA program just became like it's a fucking behemoth of like 50 hours worth of content, which just it's good for the true TA nerds like myself, but it's probably not too reasonable for like the average person. I kind of want to make something a little bit more geared towards that. So anyways, I'm rambling on right now. I'll end it right there. There'll be more information on that as this month progresses, again in a couple weeks. Waiting on a few new things before I start to go a little bit harder on that. And with all of that said, I'd like to wish you the best of the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.